Welcome to Unit 1, Level 3 video notes, where we will still be focusing on the standard where we solve routine 2 or 3-step arithmetic problems involving concepts that involve proportions. Only now, instead of just the focus skill, we might include some other skills. Let's look at the first example. A scale drawing of a house is drawn as a ratio, a comparison of two things, where a ½ inch is equal to 1 foot. Well, we could write a ½ inch equals 1 foot. Well, this is a rate. We can say a ½ inch for a scale drawing to 1 foot of the actual, because a scale drawing, the drawing is going to be smaller than the actual. So the drawing is that ½ inch to every 1 foot in the actual house. Now, another way I could write this is there's 1 foot for every ½ inch. So this rate that we got can be written as a fraction to the left or to the right. Now, let's continue reading. If the scale length of a wall of the drawing is 6 3/4 inches long, so the drawing is 6 3/4. So that's your scale. How long is the full-sized wall? So how long is our actual wall of the house? All right, let's set up proportion. I'm going to do drawing, the scale drawing to the actual house measurement. So we know that it's a ½ inch to 1 foot. And I know that my scale drawing is 6 3/4 inches to our actual length of our house. Now, to cross multiply this, you can go ahead and use your fraction keys and you can practice that. So if you did a ½ times x, that would be a ½ x, and 6 3/4, so 6 3/4 times 1 is the same. And then we can undo multiplication with division. So if I divide here by a half, you can practice that using your calculator and say 6 3/4. So 6 3/4, where this is the fraction key, the ABC key, depending on your calculator. And then divided by 1 fraction key half, and that will give you our answer. The last way is to change it to just our decimals. All right, so 1/2. If I do 1 divided by 2 on my calculator, I get 0.5 of an inch. On the bottom, I have 1 foot, so that's good. Now 6 3/4. Well, 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. So this is 6 wholes and 0.75 more. 6 3/4 to how many feet in our actual. So when I cross multiply that, 6.75 times 1 is 6.75, and 0.5 times x is the other product. Now to undo multiplication, I divide. So 6.75 divided by 0.5 to each side. We get 13.5 feet, or 13.5 feet. That's what we should have gotten here if you tried it with your fractions. Now we're going to solve the proportion here, where we can round to the nearest tenth or put it in as a fraction. So let's first of all do the rounding where we change this to a decimal. So our first example here is changing this 2/3. If you do 2 divided by 3, you get 0.6 repeating. So I could write that as 6 over 5 and 0.6 repeating more. So 5.666, and we'll just get a few of them on there. And that's equal to 7 over y. Now, I don't like to round to the 10th until the very end. So let's be as accurate as possible and take those 6's out for a while. All right, now 6 times y is one product. Cross multiply to get the other one. And 7 times 5.6 repeating is 39.6 repeating. So I'm going to write out a bunch of sixes again. Now to undo multiplication, I divide. And when I divide by 6, y is equal to 6.61 repeating. Oops, sorry. 6.611111. And it says round to the nearest tenth. Well, the tenth is here. So there's my answer. Y equals 6.6. Now let's look at how to do it as a fraction. Now let's solve this with fractions. No decimals. So 6 times y is 6y. And if I do 7 times 5 2/3, there's more than one way to do this. I can type in 7 times 5 1/3 in our calculator. And we'll get, 39 2/3. And if I hit second, ABC key again, then I will get 119 over 3. Now to do that without your calculator, 7 times 5 2/3. Well, we'd have to convert the mixed number to improper. So 5 wholes times 3 apiece is 15. And then 2 more pieces is 17/3 here. And 7 now multiply straight across. That's how we multiply fractions. 7 times 17 would be 119. And 1 times 3 is 3. So this 7 times 5 2/3 is 119 over 3. Now, to undo multiplication, timesing by 6 here, I'm going to divide by 6. So now I have y is equal to 119/3 divided by 6. And we don't divide by fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. So instead of dividing by 6 over 1, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal here, multiply straight across, I get 119 times 1 and 3 times 8. So that is my final answer. However, how can we get that in different forms? Mobius will accept 119 divided by 18. Now for mixed numbers, it's a little different. So let's do 119 divided by 18. Well, 119 divided by 18 is 6.61 repeating. So I know that 6 wholes go into it. Now I'm going to multiply these. 6 times 18 is 108. Subtract 9, subtract 8, 1 subtract 0, and I'm left with 11. 8 does not go into 11, so I'm going to write 11 out of 18. Now, to enter this on Mobius, you can't do 6 and then 11 over 18. You have to do 6 plus 11 over 18. So you can put in mixed numbers, you just have to remember the plus sign. Now, it will always accept, always, improper fractions. Our last example is very, very important for physics. And Mr. Marsh says manipulating formulas is like reconfiguring. So here I have a true equation and I need to solve for A. Well, there's steps that I can do to solve for that A, to get A by itself. So solving means I'm going to need to isolate whatever I'm solving for. So I need to isolate A. Now, in order to do that with our fractions, our proportion, let's cross multiply. So A times P times V, I don't know what numbers they are, but I know that this is the product of them. And that equals the product, the other cross product, so J times U times Y. And so here is my product equaling the other cross product. Now I need to solve for A. So I need to undo this PV, because if I got rid of it, then I'd have A all by itself, and that's what solving for A would be. So let's undo what's going on here. I have A times this product. So to undo multiplication, I divide. So I'm going to divide by P times V. P divided by P and V times V, V divided by V cancels out, or whatever this product is, it's gonna divide by that same product, that value is gonna be 1. So that cancels it out. So I'm gonna undo my multiplying by PV, and whatever I do by dividing, and whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So the PV cancels, so this is my final answer. A is equal to the product of JUY divided by the product of PV. This answer is incorrect if I plugged it in on Mobius, because it thinks it's the product of J, U, and Y divided by P, and then it thinks it's times V, which puts it on top. You need parentheses here around that product. So our final answer is J times U times Y divided by the product P times V. So it would do that first and then divide those two things. Good luck with your level 3 assignment.